we used to have kids, but it doesn't seem like we have kids anymore. This is my advice to anybody who says we're trying to find more kids. The reality is, 100% of all the kids in your neighborhood are in one building all week long. If I was talking to pastor, I said, hey, you can reach 100% of the children in your district. You laugh, you're like, there's no way you can reach 100%. But the reality is 100% of them are just down the street from you in a building. If you get access to that building, you get access to those kids. And I talk, the illustration you sometimes, it's the difference between the frog and the anteater. The frog sits on the lily pad. He waits for a bug or two to fly his way, and then he hits it when they're over the lily pad. Or the anteater goes to the tree and starts breaking it down and going inside. And that's what you need. You want anteater churches rather than frog churches. You want to go after these kids. You have a right to be there as a club. And people understand clubs. We have chess clubs to get study chess. If you want to put on a play, you can do a drama club. If you want to learn about God, you can do a good news club. If your school does clubs, you can come in and you can do it that way. If I let my kids cook supper, I got to be happy with hot dogs and mac and cheese. We want these younger people to grow up in church and we want them to stay, but we don't want to eat mac and cheese and hot dogs. And we're like, no, you just don't understand that. You've got to eat that because that's what they like and that's what makes them happy. You've got to find your happiness in them. Sometimes we think, hey, we need laser lights, we need the smoke show and the media and all this stuff we don't understand. The reality is most kids want a story read to them. They want FaceTime and they want personal attention. The secret of that is if you have fun, the kids have fun. And that's like if you were a grandpa, that's what you would do with your kid. Or if you're a great grandpa, you'd have fun with your kids, you'd play a game with them, you'd have inside jokes, and you would do all that stuff. It's the exact same thing in church. Kids have to be important to you rather than a bother. So you can go there as a club. And again, CEF offers materials. We offer help with that. We would like to pick up the kids in a bus, take them to the church and tell them a Bible story. They can't tell you no. They may not like it, but they can't because they do it. When you look at the actual numbers in Pennsylvania of people who do this, the Muslims are 3 times as many as the Christians. Unsaved people want to hear about Jesus. We're open every Sunday morning. That's the best time for you, but that's the worst time for them. For them, Sunday morning, they're sleeping in, they've got sports, there's other things going on in their life. The reason I feel that we don't do it the rest of the week is because it's not a good time for us. And, we're making the same excuse the unsaved person does. Well, it's just not a good time. Parents, if you ask them, when would be the best time for you to do something with their kids? Most of them would say, well, between 3:30 and 5 o'clock, because I'm still at work, my kids are at daycare, or they're in some other situation like that. A lot of schools will let you go there after school and do something for an hour. We're getting about 40% of the school to come to Good News Club. Good News Club has the same right to be a club. They have the same right to have a room and school resources. I share this phrase a lot, but people have burdens, but they're not entrepreneurs. You need somebody to kind of help you, especially on the strategy side, because you want a strategy that actually pays off and works. A lot of those people, they're not anti-God, they're just anti-Sunday morning. Just saying your door is open isn't enough. You've got to talk about, well, what's going to help get them from zero to the door. And there's few things that you can do that give you more good relationships with parents than taking care of their kids. Most of them have the burden. When you preach the sermon, you don't have to say kids are important. Don't you have a burden that they don't go to hell? Yeah, they're all over that. They don't know, well, how am I going to do that? What's going to be the first step? Most of them are surprised when you say public schools, because in their mind, public schools they're a door with a padlock, and there's no way to do any of that. But there are ways in, and they're just normal ways. Like I said before, you have a chess club, you can have a Good News Club, these type of things. If you have Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts that meet at school, we can do it. Just like you go to Boy Scouts to learn how to tie knots or start fires, You can come to Good News Club and you can learn how to read a Bible verse or hear the gospel.